Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. Today we're going to be talking about patio furniture. We'd like to thank Lee Dawn for liking and sharing the podcast. Cindy published a book this week, and it's called Quotes, Inspirational and Motivational Quotes.
I went with a fancy title, just like our podcast.
No, much more complex. Mine is usually one word. So from August 16th through the 20th, so this Tuesday through Saturday, you can download a free copy of her book, Quotes, from Amazon, and you can download it to any smart device.
Right. You should spell my name.
So her Cindy's last name is Johnson, Jonsson, kind of a unique Johnson.
Unless you're part of my family, then it's not so unique.
But a great deal. Check out her book, Quotes, and if you like it, give her a 5-star rating and review.
Because I want to sell more books than JC.
Yeah, I published a book on Section 8 investing.
This is supposed to be about me.
Okay, and I'm just going to say, I'm sure you're going to sell a lot more than my book sold.
Well, you're just pushing it because I added one of your quotes.
Yes, so that's a tease.
Yeah.
So check out the book free on Amazon Tuesday through Saturday. Archaeologists have found that we've been making chairs for a long time. So,
like how long?
So there's sculptures going back to past 10,000 BC of chairs and tables. Egyptian tombs, 2600 BC, have preserved chairs and tables. And ancient Rome and Greece had outdoor patios with benches, tables, and chairs. They did a really nice job on their outdoor patios. And what's wild is if you go to Pompeii or Herculaneum, they have all of these preserved relics of tables and chairs and things from 79 AD when Mount Vesuvius erupted. And that's where Pliny the Elder died.
Oh, bummer.
During that. But this stuff was all buried under 50 to 60 feet of ash until the 1700s where they uncovered it. A great BBC documentary I saw was called Life and Death in Herculaneum. So if you're interested in any old tables and chairs, it's pretty cool. When you're shopping for outdoor furniture, the main types are plastic, wood, wicker, steel, and aluminum. And you're going to see wrought iron. And wrought iron is supposed to be worked by hand, so there's very few pieces of real wrought iron. So it's primarily just metal.
So it's kind of like the wood doors that aren't wood?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and you can get some really nice plastic and wicker that looks like wood. So with plastic, it's the least expensive. It's easy to move and store. Many of these styles can be stacked or folded for storage.
Right.
And there's a wide variety of thicknesses and qualities. So the key thing is to see if it has any type of warranty that's going to be a guide to the quality. And then also one thing that some of the experts say is just sit on the chairs for plastic.
Right.
And twist, and you're going to see how the legs handle stress.
Because a lot of them look the same, but there's a big difference in quality.
Yeah, you almost have to pick it up and kind of lean on it and see how it handles stress. And then some styles can be very resistant to color fading, cracking, and stains. So again, the warranty is going to be a guide for that.
Well, my parents have a patio set that was plastic.
Okay.
And the original chairs they got rid of a long time ago, but the table they still have, and it comes apart, the legs detach, nice. So it's easy to store in the shed.
Right. And then with these plastics, some of the newer composites are recycled materials, and these can be molded and colored to look, like a range of materials, like we said. Furniture from recycled plastic and resin can be heavier than traditional plastic, so it doesn't blow around in high winds and it doesn't peel, crack, and fade. And what you're looking for in some of the better plastics is something called synthetic resin, and they were rated very high not only for their durability but for comfort. With wood patio furniture, companies use a variety of types of wood, and if you're using something inexpensive like a pine, you're going to either need to paint it or stain it and then seal it to protect it. And if you're getting a paint or stain for wood outside, make sure you're getting a product that's UV resistant. Treated pine or treated softwoods are going to stand up better to outdoor conditions. And with wood, you can get something as easy as a picnic table, so you have your table and benches all connected, or you can get tete-a-tete furniture.
What is that?
So this is 2 chairs that have a joined or a shared table. It's usually all one piece. So that's kind of cool.
So my grandparents had a picnic table where the benches were separate, but every year they put it away during the winter in the garage, and then in the springtime it was like the first sign of spring was the grandparents' picnic table came out. But they took really good care of it, and it lasted my whole childhood. They painted it every year, where my parents had a wood bench that they kept outside, which spent a couple winters outside, and within a couple years the whole thing was just rotted.
Yeah, you definitely need to protect it.
But make sure you stain it every year or paint it.
So check the label to see what kind of maintenance you need, because some will require oil, some paint, some stain.
Well, how much work do you want to put into it?
Right, exactly. Eucalyptus is popular because it's resistant to mold and mildew, insects, and moistures. And most companies recommend that you use an oil finish once a season on this wood. Acacia is very durable and can be left unfinished. So if you like that gray, weathered look, you can just leave it on.
No, I don't like that look.
Oh, you can leave it on. But if for you would put an oil finish on it, and it's going to help maintain the color. White oak is very strong, insect and moisture resistant, and this is what they used on the USS Constitution for the early colonists. So in 1812, when we were battling Britain, cannonballs would actually deflect off this white oak.
Wow.
And the British thought that the boat was made out of iron. They thought it had iron sides, so that's how it got the name Old Ironsides.
Because, when you're talking about a patio furniture podcast, of course you're going to talk about the War of 1812.
Because that's how good white oak is.
Yeah.
Cedar and cypress have resins that protect it against insects and moistures. Left untreated, it's going to turn that silver or gray. Redwood is rich in tannins, so it's protecting it from insects and decay, but it can actually bleed through and get on your clothing if you don't seal it with a clear finish. So most manufacturers recommend sealing it. Teak is considered top of the line, so this is very strong. It holds up very well outdoors, resistant to insects, moisture, bacteria, mold, and mildew. It's been used in shipbuilding for over 2,000 years, and you don't need paint or stain. It has very unique natural oils and rubber inside the wood itself.
Interesting.
And some cleaners, oils, and preservatives have actually been found to damage the wood. So a lot of manufacturers say just don't use anything on teak. And
wow, teak the way to go.
there you go. Some top-rated outdoor finishes. Cabot Gold Finish is a 2-coat application. The first coat stains it, and then the second coat protects it. And it's UV, temperature, and moisture resistant. Epiphane, so it's EPIFANES. Their clear gloss varnish was rated very high. It has tung oil, urethane resins, and UV protection in it. The Hellsman Teak Oil is a blend of oils like linseed, rosewood, and teak oil. There's actually no teak oil in teak oil.
No, I didn't know that.
And then spar varnish. Originally, this was made for the boat spars, so the wood masts on boats, and it protects it against water and sun. And then tung oil. This is pressed from the seeds inside the nuts of the tung tree. And Confucius was writing about tung oil as early as 400 BC. And then Marco Polo really liked tung oil for waterproofing his boats.
Nice.
And he talked about that in the 1200s.
A lot of boat talk today.
With wicker, it can be natural or synthetic. The natural wicker is usually rattan, cane, or bamboo, and it's very lightweight, flexible, and comfortable. The problem is it doesn't stand up well in cold, wet conditions. And a lot of the pros are saying never sit on natural wicker if it's wet, because you'll stretch it out of shape.
No, that sucks.
And so this is best for covered areas, otherwise it's going to become dry and brittle. The synthetic wicker, or it's called resin wicker or all-weather wicker, this is made from composite fibers. They wrap it around a metal frame so it holds up really well. And you can either get PVC wicker, PE wicker, or HDPE wicker.
Are you just saying letters?
And so what you're looking for is this HDPE wicker. This is high-density polyethylene, so very light, strong. They make it from recycled material, and they add UV inhibitors for sunlight. And a lot of these have a 20-year warranty.
Wow.
So very durable. With aluminum furniture, it's lightweight, rust and moisture resistant, very durable and long lasting, and there's a lot of different finishes and textures you can get now for a variety of looks. Some are stackable. I would look for a powder coat, which is considered the best finish. So this is a layer of polyester or epoxy powder that's baked onto the surface, much more durable than liquid paint.
Really?
And then check the chairs by sitting and twisting on these also, because the strength can vary based on the thickness of the legs. Mm-hmm. So much lower cost than steel, less maintenance. One of the problems is it can get hot if it's in direct sunlight.
You think?
With steel, you have a variety of blends. These are going to be heavy. They're not going to blow around in strong winds. Durable, long-lasting, and the best finish is going to be a powder coat. Mm-hmm. If you get scratches, you're going to have to touch it up with paint. And this is great for tables that you don't plan on moving a lot. Your steel patio furniture is usually going to be left out during the off-season because of the weight of it, mm-hmm. and then most of these don't fold up. Steel can get hot in sunlight and cold on cold days. For most of the steel chairs, you're going to want cushions.
So when you're choosing your patio furniture, the type of tabletop that you pick, it's a big decision. I was actually at my cousin's house a couple weeks ago, and their tabletop is with the ceramic tiles on it.
Sure.
They're in a windy area, so they have to keep bricks on top of them because the tiles that pop
Super
out.
glue.
Well, they pop out of their slots, and so my cousin was saying that it was nice because they're the standard 12 by 12 ceramic tiles, so they could just go to the store.
It.
Right. But,
so they get this quilt work mismatched tiles.
Right, but I mean, you have to think about that kind of stuff if you're in a windy area.
Right. If you're in the market for cushions, you want to look at the label and look for fade resistance, mildew resistance, waterproof or weather resistant, mm-hmm. UV blockers, stain resistant, and then if it's weather resistant, you want something that's breathable and washable.
Wow, that's a lot to look for in a cushion. Who knew?
If you're looking at the material, cotton canvas is heavy-duty fabric. And you're going to want to treat this with some type of waterproofing fabric spray like Scotchgard or Never Wet. Mm-hmm. Duck cloth is a tighter weave than cotton, so it's a step up. Polyester is waterproof and fade resistant. Mm-hmm. Polypropylene is sometimes called olefin, so O-L-E-F-I-N, and this is mold, heat, and moisture resistant. Vinyl is flexible and durable, but it's usually inexpensive. There's quite a variety of quality with the vinyl. Acrylic, tough, mildew resistant, water resistant, and it holds its color well. The 100% solution dyed acrylic was rated very high as far as a cover. With the cushion material, you can get densified polyester, so this is mildew resistant. You can get this in foam or fill. You have open cell foam, so this actually allows water to move right through it, and you're looking for something that's mildew resistant or outdoor. There's a brand called Dry Fast. Also closed cell foam. This doesn't allow water to flow through it at all. It's a little more expensive, and you can get either waterproof covers over your cushions and then under the outer material, and just look at the warranty. It's going to kind of guide you to what style it is and then what the care is for it.
So what are you supposed to do? Should you, when you're not using your patio furniture, should you bring this in all the time? Should you have like a storage deck box or something?
Well, most manufacturers are recommending that you bring the cushions in during the off season, or if you're going on vacation. If there's long periods, they're recommending that you bring them in, just because of sunlight and weather just beats it up.
Right.
And then what they're also saying to look for is outdoor thread on the label, UV resistance, plastic zippers, buttons, Velcro, or snaps. You don't want metal on your cushions. And then the top rated for cushions are Sunbrella, so Sunbrella, and they started in 1961.
Wow.
And they're still top rated. Greendale and Pillow Perfect. If you're not going to bring your furniture in, you can get patio furniture covers, and so this is going to add a lot of life to it. So again, during the off season, or if you're going to, not be using it for long periods, to cover it, and you're looking for either waterproof with a vent and UV resistant, or water resistant and breathable. You don't want to trap water underneath it or condensation underneath it, especially with wood or metal. And you want it to be lightweight, easy to store when you're not using the covers. And you can also get padded to protect your furniture from impact. And then measure for a good fit. If you have a cover that's too large, it can be blown off easily. You want to make sure that you have zippers or Velcro or elastic straps, something to hold it in place, and then match the shape to the furniture.
Right.
A couple top-rated covers. One was Coveroos, so it's Kover, capital Roos. This is a breathable fabric. It's water resistant and it doesn't trap the moisture, so it protects water from coming in, but it won't trap condensation underneath it.
Nice.
And then duck covers, DUCK. So this is an airbag system. So you get these airbags and covers. You blow up these airbags and it keeps a dome shape over your furniture so water doesn't pool on it and just sit there on top of your furniture. So it's kind of interesting. For your outdoor furniture, you can get an umbrella to give your skin protection against UV rays and add some comfort. Direct sunlight can actually make it feel 10 to 15 degrees warmer than it really is. Wild, huh? You can either get a table or freestanding umbrellas. For table umbrellas, it should extend 2 feet wider on all sides of your table or more. It shouldn't be so tall that it's not effective, but you got to be careful it's not too low, so it's difficult to get under it. The average height is 8 to 10 feet. Most pros suggest if you have a 30 to 36 inch table, get an 8-foot umbrella. 38 to 48 inch table, get a 10-foot umbrella, and 54 to 60 inch table, get an 11-foot umbrella. With a freestanding umbrella, this is going to give you the most flexibility for any of your activities. And you want to match the base to the size and weight of your umbrella.
Right.
For a table umbrella, you're usually going to have around a 50-pound base. With freestanding, it's going to be either 70-pound or larger.
Really?
And again, you're matching it. Most of these umbrellas are going to have an 1.5-inch pole. Some are 2.5 inches. And you want to make sure that that matches the base too, because you don't want it sloppy inside there. If you have a base that's designed for a 2.5-inch pole, it can be sloppy. And with the poles, you can get wood, and you're going to have to keep this protected if you get a wood post. Aluminum, very durable, very rust resistant, and then steel is very strong. The framing material and the ribs of the umbrella itself can either be wood, aluminum, or fiberglass. And if you're looking for a traditional look, or if you have wood furniture, the wood umbrellas really look nice. Aluminum is very lightweight and resistant to corrosion, but most pros are recommending the fiberglass because it's lightweight, it's resistant to corrosion, it's the most flexible. So if you have windy days, it's going to bend and not break or crack.
That's a good thing.
When you're looking at the fabric, you want to look at the label. You're looking for waterproof or water resistant and breathable. You're looking for UV resistance, mold and mildew resistant, and also fade resistant.
When you're purchasing patio furniture, spend your money on the patio furniture itself. Don't fall in love with just like a pattern on an umbrella and get that set, because it could very easily change the umbrella and the cushions, and your patio furniture would look completely different.
Very smart. With the freestanding umbrellas, you can also adjust how they tilt. So you can either get a crank, or sometimes it's called auto tilt. You have the crank that opens the umbrella, and then once it's fully open, if you keep turning that crank, it's going to adjust the tilt. So it's one of the easiest to use. A collar tilt, once your umbrella is open, there's a collar that you grab and you twist this, and that tilts the umbrella. And then push button. Once you have it open, there's a spring-loaded button that you push in, and then you manually have to grab the umbrella and tilt it, and that button pops into a hole, and then you have a variety of settings.
So definitely the crank is the easiest to operate.
Right. And the crank style is usually what's going to be used to open and close the umbrella, but less expensive models are going to have a pulley system, and then you have to lock it in place with a pin, so it's not as easy. Some top-rated umbrellas, Tropi Shade, so Tropi shade, and some of these have built-in LED lights on the ribs.
No, I've seen these.
Which were pretty cool. Trademark Innovations has a half umbrella, so if you have a balcony or just a small area, it's just a half an umbrella. So that's pretty cool. Coolaroo, so it's Coollaroo was top-rated, and I think they have the best name. Sunbrella, Sunbrella.
That's a pretty good name, too.
Yeah, and they have really top-rated fabric, so I guess they have a whole line of their own trademarked fabric that is rated very high. And then Design Within Reach is kind of a high-end umbrella, and they have like these designer umbrellas. Some are flat and circular.
It can't be an umbrella and be flat.
It is. They say it's a flat, circular designer umbrella.
Have you seen it?
Yes, it looks cool.
And it's flat and it's an umbrella.
It reminds me of the old Egyptian paintings where they held up something just to shade somebody.
So a leaf?
So yeah, right. No. So what is an umbrella? It's just something to create shade, right?
Oh,
it doesn't have to be umbrella shaped.
Right? To be an umbrella? No. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to look like a table to be a table.
Go look at Design Within Reach and tell me that's not cool.
Well, for storage and when you're closing the umbrella, it's nice to have the umbrellas that have the ties that go around it.
Right, that's smart. That's a good feature.
Always use
Except for the round one.
The flat ones? The flat umbrellas? What do they have?
You don't need anything, man. They're just cool.
Because it's just flat and not really an umbrella.
For keeping your outdoor furniture clean, if you have plastic, you can use a half a cup of washing soda in a gallon of warm water, or a quarter cup of cleaning vinegar in a quart of warm water, or you can sprinkle a little baking soda on a sponge and use this as a mild abrasive. Mm-hmm. And then everybody loves this Liquid Dawn. I mean, so many articles that they say Liquid Dawn does a great job. It's mild. 2 tablespoons of oxygen bleach in a gallon of warm water was very popular. And then a lot of the manufacturers are saying if you have plastic outdoor furniture, you can protect it with a thin coat of automotive wax.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
For wood, a mild soap like Murphy's Oil Soap mixed in warm water. You can use a mild liquid detergent or oxygen bleach. And you want to rinse this very thoroughly and make sure it's dry so you don't leave any film on that. Mm-hmm. And then protect this with either a finish or an oil, something that's going to match your wood. Again, look at your label. With wicker, natural or synthetic, they recommend using a mild liquid detergent or Murphy Oil Soap for wicker. For painted metal and aluminum, a mild liquid detergent. And again, a couple of the manufacturers were saying use a good quality auto wax to protect the finish.
Interesting.
Some top-rated ready-to-use cleaners: Goo Gone, Moldex, CLR, and Parker & Bailey. Some of the top-rated outdoor furniture collections at a good price: Hampton Bay, Hanover, Costco Outdoor. Mm-hmm. International Caravan was rated very high, and then Christopher Knight has an outdoor furniture collection that was rated very high.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
So Peter Brady from the Brady Bunch. And
well, don't say it like I should know who it is.
You should know. So the Christopher Knight Outdoor Furniture Collection.
Okay. I'm just as excited as you are now. Do you have anything else to add?
I would say you should think about how much room you have before you purchase. How often you're going to use it is going to help guide you to the material you're going to get.
Because if you're buying a set and it comes with 4 chairs, you could always buy more chairs.
Right.
Different style chairs.
Yeah, if you have parties.
There's couches, all kinds of stuff that you can get now.
Right. And do you need stackable, folding? For long periods where you're not using it, you need to protect it from sun and moisture. So, do you need covers for all of this?
Or a bigger shed.
Right. Well, listen to the shed episode.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, the Spotify mobile app, and the Google Play Music mobile app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our book, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, on Amazon. You can download Cindy's new book, Quotes, on Amazon too.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.